anything that today all of us, we concentrated more on the screen during the readings. Why? Because there was no bulletin. It is on that note that I want to announce to you that some days ago, 3 days ago, we received the sad news of the man in charge of the bulletin who passed on, late Mr. Richard. He has been the one printing our bulletin, not only our parish, that of St. Timothy, another parish again. He has been the one, the most stable one, the most affordable one, without complaint. He has been the one. And as it stands now, there are some certain things. He must be buried and some, rites of service must be carried out before the bulletin will reach us. But there are plans to start with some other group of persons until the children are able to take it off from there. That is why we don't have bulletin now. So may his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed. The readings of today are very wonderful. Already I began this Mass. At the beginning, I told you that this Sunday is a Sunday we call that Sunday of Letare, Sunday of joy. For those whose name are Letitia, some people have that as a name. It means joy. The one whose name is Joy can be called Letitia also. It's the same thing. Okay? They were all taken from there. So, anytime we have a period like this, a very strong moment of the church, for instance, Advent, for instance, Lent, there is always a kind of break to remind us that the main feast, the main celebration, the main solemnity is around the corner. And whenever it happens, it affects our liturgical celebration, at least from the point of view of the readings and from the point of view of the vestments, the altar, everything changes. And that is why you see the color is not the same. The color of the altar is changed. That of tabernacle changed because of this particular Sunday. Letare Sunday. Sunday of rejoicing, rejoicing Sunday, to remind us that the Easter period is around the corner. One more Sunday, and then it will be Palm Sunday, the last Sunday of Lent. And the readings of today are so wonderful. I said it already. They are so wonderful. In each of these readings, there are two words that once we understand them, I think we have digested the readings. Two words in each of the reading. The first reading, two words. Always contrasting, two opposites, contrasting, words. The first reading, two. Second reading, two words. Then gospel reading, also two words. First reading, appearance and reality. Once you understand appearance and the reality, how it associates us with God, then you'll be able to digest what happened in the first reading. Second reading, we have darkness and light. Darkness and light. You know that there is difference between darkness and light. They have different functions. Once you're able to digest it, you know what Paul is saying in the second reading. In the gospel reading, we have blindness and sight. Blindness and sight. That is from blindness to sight. And then from sight to blindness. In the gospel reading is in two ways. It is not only from blindness to sight, but also from sight to blindness. While one is physical blindness, the other one is spiritual blindness. Gospel reading. In the first reading, we see appearance and reality. And the call of David is a very wonderful one. Initially, the prophet Samuel, who goes to anoint one of the sons of Jesse. Of course, we know that Saul was the first king of Israel, isn't it? Saul was the first king of Israel. But after some while, he did evil in the sight of God. And with that evil, he was not able to continue as the king of Israel. The Lord decided to choose another one. And something is very particular about our God. For us, when we want to make choices of whom we want to work for us, we look at a lot of things which is classified as appearance. Status, position, intelligence, height, a lot of things we consider. Well spoken of, influence, all sorts of things we consider before we make our choices. Why? Because our knowledge of people is limited to external features. Our knowledge of people is limited to external features. And we conclude and make decisions like that. But for God, it's completely different. While we begin to make choices, while we begin to even judge people sometimes from external features, from appearances, God begins his choice from the heart. He goes within that place we cannot go. And that is why sometimes I used to say, we cannot conclude that we have known it all, because each one seated here, each one in this compound can only see something from a point of view. That one that you are exposed to by God. And if you assume that that one you have seen is the best one, the sustainable, no other one has sense, there is a big problem. 3 blind men. By the way, towards the ending of the Mass, 2 blind men will come and speak to us. They will solicit for funds for helping other people. That will happen. And it's very, very important that it's happening today, that we are speaking about a blind man. A story was told of 3 blind men who were exposed to a huge elephant, a very huge one. They could not see. So, how does the blind man see? He does what? He begins to do what? To touch, isn't it? Maybe he has also a stick or a staff he uses, you know. But that one, these 3 were exposed to a very huge elephant. One was touching the leg. One was touching the tail. One was touching the trunk. The one who was touching the leg said that elephant is like a pillar, isn't it? Elephant is like a pillar, full stop. The one touching the trunk said that elephant is like a snake. The one touching the tail said that elephant is like a rope. R-O-P-E. This is their various conclusions. But did any of them capture how elephant looks like? It is also in the same way. Sometimes we make conclusions. This is how it is. This is how it is. Everyone is looking at the crucifix from this point of view. Now, apart from those who are there, they may be looking at, I don't know, the frame of Jesus, Sacred Heart. The ones seated there are looking at the frame of Immaculate Heart of Mary. Those seated here looking at the crucifix. The one standing here is seeing those who are outside, mind the glass, and all sorts of things. We see from different points of view. Nobody knows it all. Only God can see from within and see appearances. God sees everything. And that is why it is right that he's the one who decides. He's the one who judges. We see that Prophet Samuel initially was more or less like us. Immediately he saw Eliab, the first son of Jesse. He said, certainly it must be this one. Because at that point in time, he was judging by appearance. He was judging by strength. He was judging by influence. He was judging by famous aspects. And the Lord said, be very careful. Man sees in a different way. God sees in his own way. God does not see as man does, because man sees only appearances. But God sees the heart. And so, we see that, there are 2 ways of seeing things. Seeing with our eyes and seeing with our heart. Jesse started presenting all his sons. All of them were passing before Samuel. None of them were chosen. For Jesse, it's better that maybe he has made mistake. Maybe Samuel has made mistake to have come to his house. maybe somewhere else. He was already losing hope. No more here in my house. And someone asked him, all these your sons? There is no other one? There is still one more, but that one is there with the sheep. Is the youngest one. You know, the way he was responding, you will know that Jesse never put trust in that one. That one is almost forgotten. And someone said, "What? I will not sit until he arrives, because I am here on a mission." And when David arrived, they say he was so ruddy, smallish, handsome, very handsome somehow. But coming in, he said, the Lord spoke to Samuel, "Arise and anoint him. He's the one." And he was anointed before all his brothers, elder brothers, all of them. And the Spirit of the Lord descended upon him. That was why David was so great. The man after God's own heart. He was so great. Although there were a lot of things he did as a king, but we know that David was always ready to repent. David will never lay his hands upon idol like many other kings of Israel who will start to worship idol. David will not try it. And if he realizes that he has sinned, he can go to any extent to punish himself. The greatest. God sees in a different way, not as man does. And that is why we must move from the level of appearance to the level of reality. You see why it is not correct to judge other people? You can now see why it's not correct to judge other people. Because a child thinks that every smile means happiness. But we know from experience that when somebody great is being challenged by a young person that he knows he can deal with, what does he do? He begins to smile. Who is this one? He wants to die. He begins to, but he's boiling within himself, but he smiles. But the child thinks that the one who is smiling is happy. So that is it. So we must go beyond that. The Lord teaches us that we must go beyond appearances. He's the only one who searches the heart. In the second reading, St. Paul tells us that we were darkness. He didn't say we are only in dark. We are darkness, but we have become light. We have migrated from darkness to light through Christ. Through Christ himself. It is only the one who is light himself, who has what it takes to render other people, the light that is needed. And so, if we are light right now, if we are living by the light, everything about us must be transformed completely. Our identity must be maintained. Identity of those who live in the light. And what does the light do? The light exposes the things that are not correct. While the darkness continues to hide, continue to, compromise a lot of things that are not going on well, the light exposes them and condemns them. And if we are people of the light now, everything about us, our attitude, our behavior, our relationship, in our families, in our businesses, anywhere we find us, everything about us must be transformed. Because we don't live for ourselves anymore. We live for the one who has rendered that light in us. Everything about us must be transformed. St. Paul tells us. In the gospel reading, we heard about the man who was born blind. He was born blind. It's not as if he had an accident or something happened. He was born blind. And I hope you will not be surprised with the question of the disciples. Who was he? The disciples were asking Jesus, who was he that sinned? Was it this man or his parents that he was blind? Why was this question thrown to Jesus? Because according to history of Israel, those who were sick were believed to have committed sin. That is why they were struck. Especially when you have a very, serious sickness that cannot be cured. It means that the Lord has struck you. He strikes you because of what you have done. Either you have done or your parents have done. That was why they asked that question. For instance, if you go to Old Testament, if you go to Numbers chapter 12, you will hear the story of the sister of Moses. What was the name? What was the name? Miriam. And had another brother who was called Aaron. These people were older than Moses. These people took care of Moses. In fact, the age difference was more. They took care of Moses. But the choice of God is always different. God chose Moses, and through Moses was performing a lot of wonders. To the extent that the sister was so jealous about Moses and started complaining, started speaking ill of Moses. And what happened? She was struck immediately with leprosy. And she started almost like dying. The same Moses she was criticizing was the one who went to ask God to forgive the sister. She must have felt that, look at this boy that my mother wanted to throw away. I went to the side of the sea to bring him. And now he's now doing like, I started criticizing. But when leprosy came, she couldn't open mouth again. She couldn't be stable again. Aaron already was begging Moses, so now we are gone because I don't know what is coming to me on this way now. Moses was the same one who went to beg on behalf of Miriam. And Miriam was restored to life. Sin. Another occasion, if you go and pick up 2 Chronicles chapter 26, read from 16 down, you will hear about King Uzziah. King Uzziah, after the death of his father, at the age of 16, he was already king, ruling the people. And he was succeeding. He was worshiping God, doing all sorts of things. And successful, always successful. Until the thing entered his head. When it entered his head, what did he do? He decided now to take laws into his hands. He started burning incense. Pick up incense and started burning. Entered a temple and began to do what was meant for priests only to do. Azariah, who was a priest, went with 80 other priests to go and correct him that he's making mistake. It is true, you are a king, you have succeeded, and people praise you. Continue with that assignment the Lord has given to you. Don't delve into this one. This is reserved for only those who are priests, those who are the sons of Aaron. It is not meant for you, a king, to do that. And the king looked at them. Who are these people to talk to? Who are you? He was so annoyed with them. The scripture tells us that because he was annoyed with them, leprosy fell on him. And he remained a leper until he died. So, the question of the disciples here is very, very, very in order. It goes well. So, people believe that when somebody is seriously sick or a leper, there is something associated with sin. But Jesus tells us that it's not always the case. That this one was made like this so that the work of God may be revealed. As long as I'm in the world, I remain the light of the world. And that light, I must transmit it in you. I must put that light in you, that you may become light, all of you. In the case of this blind man, it's not as if he came and was begging Jesus to heal me. No. After what Jesus said, he started the healing process. And the healing of this man was different. It's not like the way he used to heal people. He just command. Jesus did what? His part on the ground and made mud, made it clear. Made mud and rub it. Which recalls about the creation story of Genesis. Jesus recreates that which God the Father has created. And then we see the argument coming from different places. Why he should be healed on a Sabbath. That is spending story. But people will not know how difficult it is for those who are blind. If you know what it means to be blind man, if you have a serious operation to the extent that your two eyes are affected, that they can be closed for one day, you will know what you are enjoying. You will not know what you are enjoying until something happens. But may nothing happen to any of you through Christ our Lord. I know of a priest who was ordained on the 5th of June 2021. When I got to Turin initially, in Italy initially, we were starting our Italian course. That was 2016. And he used to come around. He was not yet priest. He used to come around, this young man, and they used to call him Matteo. He has very wonderful, like this. And then he'll be moving upstairs where we have a common room. He'll be moving upstairs and goes, sometimes as if he touched something, but he goes freely and go and sit somewhere. But later people were saying he's a blind man. No? I said, this one blind. This one where nobody they accompany, they move on his own. They tell me, say blind, no blind. And he say he's a blind man. And we were trying to observe him. Okay, we started believing that maybe he's a blind man because we realized that whenever he's going outside the community, somebody will accompany him. The person doesn't tell him anything. What he does is that he places his hand on the shoulder of the person like this, and they will just be moving. So, two people who may see them on the way, because the two eyes are open, only that they have a special colors. Somebody coming may not be certain what is happening. They will just think, these are friends. He just places hand like this and he's moving. We started believing when we were believing, but we cannot believe that it was completely absolute, that he cannot see at all. Blind from birth. It's not accident, blind from birth. He said that when he was born, he was almost like struggling, but then he didn't see at all. So you are the one talking about Pillar now. You know how Pillar looks like. It's his hand that is telling him that Pillar looks like this. And this person is information. He wants to become a priest. When there are no vocations, the one you have, you do what? You hold it well. You nurture it very well. When there are vocations, you set a lot of things for people. Because, you need to reduce the number in order to be able to pay for them. That's what we see around our area, no? But some other places, it becomes very difficult. Matteo was like this, was studying. After his practical experience, he started theology and he finished and was ordained on the 5th of June, 2021. Father Linus, some of you know him. Father Linus was ordained with him the same day. He says it's very remarkable for him to be ordained with that man because it's a testimony that has to be given in future. And people will ask, how can you ordain? What will he do? I can tell you, I have listened to different Italians speak. But when Matthew speaks, if you don't understand it, it means you don't understand the language. He doesn't chew the words. He pronounces things perfectly, clearly. Many other words we speak and be, eating some of the words. The things are not clear because of their different dialects. But Matthew will speak clearly. This morning, I decided to message someone I know in Turin to ask, what is his situation now? As I'm speaking to you, he's a lecturer. As I'm speaking to you, a blind man from birth is a lecturer teaching people who are studying theology. Presently doing his doctorate in another university. A blind man that we doubted. Some people have better eyes they can read from, but what are they using it for? What are they using it for? God has his own way of opening doors for people. To teach people, it is because you know how to say some certain things. The day he did his first mass, we are all there now. All this, our book was not necessary for him. He doesn't need all those things. He knows almost everything by heart. He says the prayer by heart. All the aspect of he will say it by heart. The brain is so sharp. When he gives contribution, there is a meeting. He gives contribution, it is more wonderful. It will just be all the wisdom, as if they gathered the wisdom that's supposed to be for other people and impose it on him. He opens mouth, everybody is listening. Blind man. Today, we are talking about another one who was being healed by Jesus. Instead of the Pharisees to appreciate the good work that the Lord has done through Jesus, they started questioning. They brought the issue of Sabbath. The one who was blind started seeing. And those who were seeing became blind because they have resisted the truth that only Jesus was revealing. It is not important for them that the man is seeing. What matters for them is not that the man is seeing. No. What matters for them is that is Sabbath obeyed or not? So law is the most important thing, not love of the neighbor. Law, important. Love by the side. Somebody has been blind for a very long time and nobody cared. And somebody has finally healed him. The question now, why must he be from God if he's healing somebody on a Sabbath? They say that they are disciples of Moses. But as of this man, they don't know where it comes from. But this is the same man who is coming to fulfill that law that Moses gave to them, which many of them misinterpreted, that they did not understand. This is the same man who is coming to interpret it for them. So, my dear brothers and sisters, the readings of today, they invite us in a very special way to go within ourselves to think about how we live our lives. How we live our lives. Am I very open when I am being given correction? When I'm being advised, or I feel that I know it all? When I know it all, I will play the part of the Pharisees. But if I open up to people, I listen to what they say, then I play the part of the blind man. Now you see, that spiritual blindness is more deadly than physical one. I just told you the story of Matthew now. Very soon, we pronounce doctor and he's teaching in theology. Spiritual blindness is very dangerous because the heart is blocked already. It is very difficult to wake up somebody who pretends to be sleeping, who pretends to be asleep. It's very difficult to wake him up because it's only a pretense. It's only a pretense. And so the Lord is inviting us. We need to go within ourselves and ask ourselves, are we able to see with our eyes, the eyes of the heart? Are we able to see? How do we accept the message that the Lord drops for us each day about how we relate with others, how we worship Him, how we believe in Him? Is there anything I'm resisting within me? That spiritual blindness. Is there anything spiritual that I'm resisting that can make me to grow from strength to strength? Is there anything? We are all called to go within ourselves and to give a thought on how we live our lives. The Lord will speak to us through a lot of persons. I said it already. Don't think that the only one who can advise you is the one who knows more than you. Some other person may not know more than you. It may be your servant, your maid can help you. You know already what happened some days ago between Nathan and the maid of his wife. You know what really happened. So even the little one that you have, the younger one you have, may be the one that God will speak through the person. God chose David, not because he was, but he saw the heart of David, and it was worthy to work for God, and he chose him. So the Lord speaks to us through a lot of persons. The only thing is that we need to ask for the humility to be able to accept, because God will speak to us when we don't expect. And so it is not our call to begin to resist this, the voice of God speaking to us. Our consciences, they speak to us, but sometimes we are not attentive because we are in a noisy environment. We don't give time to reflection during the day in order to go within ourselves and transform ourselves. And I believe that this Lenten period we are living is a very important moment to go within ourselves, to give a rethink on how we live our lives. The Lenten period. I noticed that some people have made it point of duty that every Wednesday they must be there for Stations of the Cross. And when they are there for Stations of the Cross, they will attend Mass. I'm sure some people have taken it as resolution. Some people decided both Wednesday and Fridays, they will be there for Stations of the Cross and they will attend Mass. Good resolution. What of those who will never attend neither the one of Wednesday, neither the one of Friday? No Mass at all during the week. And it's not because somebody is extraordinarily committed, but because so tired, they cannot. What are you doing? It's not a matter of fasting from morning to evening. That one is something material. There are some other way you build yourself spiritually. Say, Jesus, I have to be with you. You see, this week, I'm supposed to, at least, no matter what, I must receive you 2 times. Sunday is not enough for me. I need to receive you extra 2 days again. And I need to participate. I need to build my part. I need to prepare myself. I need to be that light that St. Paul is talking about. If he's the light of the world and he has called us to follow in his steps, we are meant to reflect. We are meant to inspire the life of other people. And so we ask God for the grace that we need in order to live accordingly. May the light of Christ continue to strengthen us, continue to grant us the knowledge that we need and the courage we need in order to make right choices and embrace these right choices through concrete actions, so that at the end of our lives, all of us will be judged worthy to be before his holy presence in heaven, through Christ our Lord.